the Indianapolis Colts put up 121 yards of offense yesterday. The whole game. Not in the first quarter, not in the first half, the entire game. 121 yards, and maybe my favorite stat of the day, Charles, they were 0 for 14 on third down. Throw in another 0 for 2 on fourth down. Critical situations, got to have in situations. They ain't got it. It's 0 for 16. 0 for 16 for the Indianapolis Colts. And what makes it even better, Charles, is that this was the masterpiece envisioned by the great man, Frank Reich. This is it. You know what, Marcus Brady, my former offensive coordinator who doesn't call plays, I'm going to take the title away from you. That's all I'm taking away from you. Maybe setting up the meetings, getting things organized for me to call the plays. You can no longer do that for me because you are not fit for the position. So I, Frank Reich, offensive guru, I'll come in and I'll get us in the right direction. And he submits the Colts' worst performance in 25 years on offense.
Look,
so he was
Michael,
fired. He was fired today. Oh, by the way, he's fired.
Michael, you have to, though, look at it. The one silver lining for Marcus Brady, nobody wants to be fired, right? But at the very least, now we know he was not the problem, okay? Everybody, I think, at the time knew it. I think when you talk to people around the league, they were perplexed. Like, this guy doesn't even have play calling duties. Like, what are you doing organizationally? Now, the upside is people are looking at the situation and going, well, okay, clearly that wasn't the problem. Now there's one man left to blame in Frank Reich. And how this entire thing has unfolded is kind of crazy. So I talked to someone Friday in the building there, and I said, like, where are things at? Is this guy potentially, going to get fired here? And I was told explicitly, look, here's the big thing with Jim Irsay. He wants the quarterback situation resolved, meaningfully, permanently done. No more messing around. That's really what all the focus is about. And this person said, I'm inclined to believe that he's going to be patient with Frank as long as everything is leaning into getting that quarterback situation resolved for good. And when I said, well, what does resolved mean? This guy said to me, like, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck resolved. And I'm like, okay, well, the only way that's really going to get resolved is if Bryce Young is your next quarterback and you have the first pick in the draft. Yeah, if you tank, right?
You gotta tank.
So,
yep.
And then he gets fired, like literally.
Which they're doing. Which they are doing. They are tanking.
That's what. Okay, so let's talk about Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday, man, with no head coaching, no assistant coaching on the NFL level, college level whatsoever.
Hebron.
Yeah.
He did coach at Hebron though. Hebron, the academy in Georgia. He was there for 3 years. So,
college level,
got that
college level, NFL level. I mean, come on, this is.
Look at that tweet.
This is Josh McCown. Right? Remember we talked about Josh McCown. Like, how could you consider hiring Josh McCown as your head coach?
Right.
That's what just happened. And look, by the way, this is not to bang on Jeff Saturday. He's a smart guy, right? Okay, I get it. And he's beloved in Indianapolis. And I mean, if anything, all you did is put him in a situation. I mean, I hope Colts fans realize that he can go the rest of the season, maybe not win a game. You don't want to turn love into hate. I hope they understand what this is all about. I'm just very curious to see how this gets spun by Jim Irsay, who, by the way, clearly everything that's happening right now is so Jim Irsay inspired. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, Charles. I said in the feed, I said this is the season. This is the season right here where I want the Colts to be on Hard Knocks. This is much more. This is much more interesting than last year when Carson Wentz lets them down and they can't win one game in the final two. Okay, yeah, that was great. That was great. But this has so many elements of just. I would call it the anatomy of corporate backstabbing. The anatomy of so many things have happened. So we already mentioned Marcus Brady. Frank Reich turns on Marcus Brady. Jim Irsay turns on Frank Reich. Maybe Chris Ballard turned on Frank Reich. Maybe Irsay is going to turn on Ballard. The player, Matt Ryan is sacrificed.
That's who was fired first. That's the thing. People forget Matt Ryan was the first guy fired in this organization, and then they just started going down the line.
So they have done this, Charles. They've done this thing of really blaming everybody. I think eventually, I know owners don't play, but I do believe most times, I say 9 times out of 10, your organization is a reflection of what your ownership has put into it, has invested, has imagined, has set the tone, set a cultural, organizational standard. Your organization is a reflection of that. It's coming back to you, Irsay. Look at all the people we've tried to blame for the Colts' problem since Andrew Luck walked out. First, it was Andrew Luck. Hey, how dare you leave? And the Colts fans, don't forget it. I hear y'all. Y'all who booed him when you heard he was just going to live his life and not, serve you anymore as the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, decided he was going to live life. They blamed Andrew Luck. Then Phillip Rivers, who gave him 1 year, but he was supposed to give him 2, I guess. And then it was Carson Wentz's fault. Then it was Matt Ryan's fault.
Don't forget Jacoby Brissett was in there.
Jacoby Brissett. Then it was Marcus Brady's fault. Now it's Frank Reich's fault. Chris Ballard, you're next. Maybe at the end of the year, it's going to be Chris Ballard's fault. Eventually, we're going to come back to this. Jim Irsay's all over the place. And Charles, in 2021, last year, he gave both of these guys contract extensions through 2026 and said all these wonderful things. They're great men, and they're people that our players can follow, our community can be proud of. We're going to win. I wanted to provide the stability and all this stuff. And then they go through some major adversity, and he's out. This is crazy.
Michael, let me explain to you what this is here. This is an owner, okay, who was blessed with Peyton Manning for the longest time, okay? Right? Cleans quarterback, hardworking, pushes guys in practice, all these different, all the wonderful things you wanted to say about Peyton Manning over all those years, about how he was as a professional on the field for the Indianapolis Colts. And then he went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck, who you could say what you want about injuries, but the talent was there. He went from one amazing quarterback situation to another that probably would have been amazing if Andrew Luck could have only stayed healthy. Now, what we have seen since Andrew Luck is Jim Irsay being introduced to what the majority of the rest of the NFL has learned over the last couple of decades at some point, and in some places every single year. It's called quarterback hell. Okay, that's what's going on in Indianapolis right now, and he is flipping out because now he's been through multiple years where every year it's a different answer. It's a different answer. Why can't we? And all he thinks in his head is, why can't I go back to getting my Peyton Manning? Why can't I go back to getting Andrew Luck when he was supposed to be the guy? And that's part of what this conversation was about on Friday, just Jim Irsay's mind being dominated by having to solve a quarterback problem that, frankly, most of the league can't solve. They trip over themselves. I mean, look at the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson. That was solved, right? And now it's not solved, and it might be worse. It might have hurt themselves worse trying to solve it. This is such a great microscope on how owners get blessed with something, and then it all goes wrong. I'm telling you, someday the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to hire the wrong coach, and then they're going to sit there and go, oh, my God, we had 3 coaches for a half century. And now we got terrible coaches. What do we do with a bad head coach?
Yeah. How do we deal with this? Hey, join everybody else. Join everybody else in the league.
Welcome to the club.
Who is cycling through coaches. But you said something interesting about interesting word about Irsay. You said he's been blessed. Been blessed with Peyton Manning. He's been blessed, and Andrew Luck. He's been blessed with more than that. And I got the sense, I got to tell you, in the spirit of full transparency, there are certain players I root against. There are certain coaches I root against. And there are certain owners I root against. I root against Jim Irsay. Okay. I'll tell you, I root against him. I'm going to tell you why I root against him. Because just like I root against, I'm going to tell you some personal stuff here. Let me get personal. Even before I was a parent, you know what I could not stand? Ooh, but this is long before I was a parent. I was 23, 24 years old, single, not thinking about getting married, having kids, anything, just trying to get established in my career. I would see a spoiled or entitled kid.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's just great. It would just grate on me. I'd be like, oh, who are your parents? Who are your parents? Let me talk to you. Let me talk to your parents. How did you get that attitude? How did you grow to be like this? So ungrateful and spoiled. And that's why I root against Jim Irsay, because a quote he gave, he tried to clean it up, did a terrible job of cleaning it up. After Peyton Manning, he's blessed with Peyton Manning. You said it right. Peyton Manning leaves, gives that tearful press conference. And I'll just thank you for letting me be your quarterback, that whole thing. Okay, great press conference.
Oh, I know where
he goes off to Denver. He goes off to Denver. Jim Irsay says, well, we only won one.
Yep. Yeah,
we only won one Super Bowl. Excuse me? You only won one Super Bowl? You only won Super Bowl. And with Andrew, we're just trying to construct a team where we can win more than that. We can win more than one. And Peyton, made it tough for us because he took so much of the salary cap.
Money.
Basically going there.
Yep.
Wait a minute. You play in the AFC. The AFC, when Peyton Manning was there from, 98 to 2011, whatever it was, 2011, 2012. You got the Steelers. You had the Colts. And you had the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, those are three. So you had Roethlisberger, Manning, and Brady. And they all had a crack at it. And they were all worthy. And they all got to the Super Bowl multiple times. And the Colts didn't win it multiple times, but the other two did. Sorry. It's hard. Getting to the Super Bowl is hard. Winning the Super Bowl is difficult. And for this owner just to say, oh, you know what, we can win more than that. I was thinking, I hope they never get back. Because he doesn't even understand what he had. He had Peyton Manning. He had Andrew Luck. He had one of the most dignified men ever to walk a sideline in Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy hands it off to Jim Caldwell. They go to the Super Bowl with Jim Caldwell.
Yeah.
I mean, he had everything. Great coaching, great general managers, great quarterbacks, great players. And it's just, we can do more than this. So he's getting what he deserves, I think.
Yeah, well, and there's a reality to second generation owners. I mean, you can go through the NFL. There's not a lot of like third, fourth, fifth generation owners, but first generation owners are always the ones who do all the hard work and they get bloody, right? They always deal with the losing and what it's like to get the franchise in their hands in the first place and all these different things. I'm in Houston, right? Cal McNair now is the owner of the Houston Texans. And
I love that nickname, by the way. Before you continue, I love the nickname that came out about Cal McNair. Remember this? And the story on McNair, what they call him? Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy.
Listen, man, I live here. All right, I got to deal with
such a great nickname.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
That's not the only one, by the way. There are others. Anyway, again, though, you can see, though, as soon as transfer happens in an organization, look, you can say whatever you wanted about Bob McNair, but there were certain things in the organization he did do right. Rick Smith was a very good general manager for a while with the organization. I mean, you could just see organizationally certain things were left in the hands of competent people. And then all of a sudden, everything went sideways. Nothing's really been right now that you've got a second-generation owner handling a team. And there is sort of, for lack of a better word, a sense of entitlement there that takes place. Right. And I think you're absolutely right about that. And I knew you were going for that Peyton quote because that really it epitomized someone who had no idea how really good he had it for a really long time. How many teams would have loved to pay Peyton Manning all that money, to have Tony Dungy on the sideline, to have Bill Polian be your general manager at that time? He had no idea, and now he's living through it, what reality is in the NFL, and all these firings and the quarterback, all these things that are happening right now go straight to the top of someone who is, like I said, I think he's just freaking out that he can't get it resolved.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.